You're tuned in to Vintage McCoy, where history matters. Stick around.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light."
Together, we will make America great again.
I have never been more hopeful about America.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
The advance of human liberty can only strengthen the cause of world peace. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
But because of the Watergate matter, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
One small step for man.
All of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, "My country tears of thee, sweet land of liberty of thee I sing."
We shall pay any price, bear any curse, uphold any foe to ensure the survival and the success of liberty.
As indeed we are, the defenders of freedom.
With the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created
One
equal,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Those who forget the past are destined to repeat.
Welcome to our segment tonight, Citizen Rise Up. And it's necessary for us to do so. Hi, I'm Rick Brown. I'm filling in for Rob McCoy. And we want to look at a number of clips tonight about citizens that are getting involved. And this is a thing about not only our Christianity, or if you are just a citizen that loves liberty, you must get involved with civics, whether it's going to the school board meeting or going to a city council meeting or a county supervisor's meeting, whatever it might be, where we can weigh in on those elected officials and to push back on agendas that they are putting forth that are destructive in nature. They govern by our consent, and if we do nothing and we consent to what they're doing, we are a collaborator with them in the destruction of their policies. Because whatever policy you put into place, what you believe affects how you behave. And we live in a generation where Marxism, socialism is being pumped like a sewer line into our school system, our academia, and through the guise of critical race theory. And we want to see in a number of these clips where parents are standing up, citizens are standing up, children are standing up, and for each of us to prayerfully consider, how can I pray? How can I get involved? Or if I'm an individual that just loves America and I'm patriotic and I would love to hand off this heritage to my posterity, my children, my grandchildren, how am I going to get involved with doing that? We're going to see some people. Check out this school teacher that stands up to the school board against critical race theory, and she is a teacher that is being pushed on to bring these ideas to children. Check it out.
Be afraid to speak out for your kids because they are voiceless and they rely on you. You should be afraid of them rooting for socialism by the time they get to middle school. Teachers, it may seem that our careers have come to a dead end, but I'm here to remind you, we don't work for the school board. We work to mold the next generation of well-rounded American patriots. So don't give up, because it is up to us. Students, you are on the front lines of these indoctrination camps. Challenge the staff when you're presented with a ludicrous statement, and do not allow anybody to tell you that you cannot accomplish anything because of your skin color, or to hate yourself because of your skin color. Students, it is up to you to be the next generation of victims or victors. And finally, to the board, this isn't over, and your policies are just as pathetic as making us wear a mask.
Nick Gothard, followed by Ryan.
They cancel her at the end, the school board does. They hit the mute button on this teacher because she has a little exhortation for them. She had talked to teachers, she had talked about parents, she had talked about children standing up against this, and she laid it out there to them. But I guess if you have the mute button and you want to be canceled, in a forum where it is for welcoming public comments. Here's a teacher that is experiencing it real time, real life, and the pressure that must be there. But look at the courage of that gal. She knows that no doubt by standing up, she's risking her career. She may no longer be able to teach anywhere. Once you get cancel cultured and they go after you, you're silenced. And now she'll be looking for a waitressing job because nobody will touch her. Here's a school teacher that exact thing happened to him for standing up for what he believed in a public forum to be able to share his thoughts as a school teacher himself.
Guys, this is a Leesburg Elementary School where Tanner Cross is a physical education teacher, although right now his employment status is up in the air. All because of comments Cross made at this Loudoun County School Board meeting last week.
I love all of my students, but I will never lie to them regardless of the consequences. I'm a teacher, but I serve God first, and I will not affirm that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa, because it's against my religion, it's lying to a child, it's abuse to a child, and it's sinning against our God.
And controversy erupted from there.
So you see that a teacher that has convictions, he's a Christian, he believes that this is wrong biblically, which I'm a preacher, it is wrong biblically, and he makes his statement in a public forum, and yet he's suspended. A number of things have happened to him in this process because he made a stand. We no longer live in a world in the United States of America where the First Amendment is actually something that is free. It's only free for the progressive leftist propaganda. They can say anything they want. They can do anything they want. It will be promoted on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, but not a conservative message. As a matter of fact, when we look at this progressive leftist propaganda, it's really with militant religious fervor that they're pursuing this. And yet they would relegate us to people with an archaic faith, and yet their faith is going to destroy the nation. Our faith built the nation in the first place to be the greatest nation on planet Earth through Judeo-Christian ethics. That to love God with all your heart, to love your neighbor as yourself, and that pretty much covers it. Jesus said, all the law and the commandments hang upon this. But if you wonder about this new critical race theory, and its goal is a Marxist socialism that wants to divide people, and as it divides people, it will destroy things. And you can look at history, whether it's in Russia or in China. As a matter of fact, check out this mom that immigrated from China, and she stands up at a school board meeting because citizens need to rise up. But she has the experience of going through Mao's revolution. Look at her as she stands up at the school board meeting.
Just listen to how one Virginia mom who actually survived Mao, China, eviscerates her local school board amid the district's critical race theory push. Take a look at this.
I've been very alarmed about what's going on in our school. You are now training our children to be social justice warriors and to loathe our country and our history. Growing up in Mao's China, all this seemed very familiar. The communist regime used the same critical theory to divide people. The only difference is they use class instead of race. This is indeed the American version of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The critical race theory has its roots in cultural Marxism. It should have no place in our schools.
Wow, isn't that great? A mom that has that kind of experience, and that experience that she brings with her to America, to the land of the free and the home of the brave. And to her, it's just like, boom, a loud alarm goes off in her head to say, this belongs nowhere in our school system, and this is what the Mao Revolution was all about in China. And listen to her remarks as she follows up here.
She Van Fleet is with us. You were 6 years old when the Cultural Revolution began in China. And you have spoken eloquently about what it was like in school, and posters hung in hallways, and teachers and students would attack each other for being ideologically impure. Can you explain what you experienced and the similarities you see?
Okay. I just want to let the American people know that what's going on in our school and in our country is really a replay of the Cultural Revolution in China. And I want people to see there's similarities, and the similarities are terrifying. They use the same ideology and same methodology, even the same vocabulary, and with the same goal. The ideology is cultural Marxism, and we were divided into groups as oppressor and oppressed. And here we use race, and there they use class. And the people here who have a different review were labeled racist. But in the Cultural Revolution, the label is counter-revolutionary. So it is a hat that fits all. And once the hat is on your head, your life is ruined. And the methodology is also very similar. It's cancel culture. We basically cancel the whole Chinese civilization pre-communism. And we changed our school names, street names, store names. We changed even our personal names. My name is Xi, and I was named after the city I was born, Xi'an. Xi means west. It also refers to the imperialism. So I wanted so bad to change my name because I want to be more communist. I'm glad my parents convinced me not to. And the vocabulary is even the same, wokeness. And to be specific, we used class wokeness. In Chinese, it is 阶级觉悟. Your level of wokeness determine your chance to get promotion or to get benefit. And who decides your level of wokeness? It is the party leaders.
What's your level of wokeness? How have you tuned into the critical race theory? How woke are you to the new Marxist socialism agenda? And if you get canceled to be against that, as we are personally against that, or resist that, we can be canceled, we can be tuned out, and we can be identified as, for those revolutionaries there in China, it was counter-revolutionary, and we just simply want to stand up and exercise our free speech, be peaceful, be prayerful, get involved, and rise up with the rest of the citizens in the United States of America to realize that history is getting ready to repeat itself in the Cultural Revolution, which is undermining the unity in the fabric of America, because this is the socialist agenda, that is to get the society so fragmented that the government is the only big enough entity to come in and save the day and to rule as an elite class. So those are the things that are going on, but thank God for citizens like that previous mom that comes from China, or this mother that stands up at her school board meeting and does the exact same thing.
My name is Keisha King. I'm a mom of two, one who's in the Duval County Public School System and one in private school thanks to school choice. I'm also a member of Moms for Liberty, representing thousands of parents. Just coming off of May 31st, marking the 100 years of the Tulsa riots, it is sad that we are even contemplating something like critical race theory, where children will be separated by their skin color and deemed permanently oppressors or oppressed in 2021. That is not teaching the truth, unless you believe that whites are better than blacks. I have personally heard teachers teaching CRT, and we have had an assembly shut down because Duval County Public School System consultant thought it would be a great idea to separate students by race. This is unacceptable. CRT is not racial sensitivity or simply teaching unfavorable American history or teaching Jim Crow history. CRT is deeper and more dangerous than that. CRT, in its outworking today, is a teaching that there is a hierarchy in society where white, male, heterosexual, able-bodied people are deemed the oppressor, and anyone else outside of that status is oppressed. That's why we see corporations like Coca-Cola asking their employees to be less white, which is ridiculous. I don't know about you, but telling my child or any child that they are in a permanent oppressed status in America because they are black is racist, and saying that white people are automatically above me, my children, or any child is racist as well. This is not something that we can stand for in our country. And don't take it from me, look at the writers of these types of publications. Our ancestors, white, black, and others, hung, bled, and died right alongside each other to push America towards that more perfect union. If this continues, we will look back and be responsible for the dismantling of the greatest country in the world by reverting to teaching hate and that race is a determining factor on where your destiny lies. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll be looking at another segment about wokeness, and that's not the primary point of this. It's about the citizens rising up and getting involved. Because you see, the citizenry, that as these people rule by our consent, if we push back and we recall them or we vote no confidence in them, that we can get people in there that actually have common sense, that love America, and that are not implementing policies that divide us, but actually produce unity. Everybody's standing up here. We have a mom that immigrated from China standing up, who went through the Mao uprisings. We have this mom. We have 2 school teachers that are standing up as citizens. Even kids are standing up. Check out this sweet little girl.
He likes masks in schools. Their children are suffocating. You don't know what it feels like, and it's nonsense. Seriously. Like, why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that? And God created us so we can be free people. And we're not being free here or at public schools. Okay? So I would take your masks off if I were you.
I agree with this little girl. She's my new favorite. She says it's nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. So when will people stand up, even if you're a little kid? Hey, we're supposed to be free people, and now we're having so many of these tyrannical, overreaching things, policies crammed down our throats. Well, you expect teachers to stand up, right? They're in the school system. They're citizens. You expect moms to stand up because they have children in the school system. You expect a child to stand up, sure. Or an immigrant that sees it, cultural Marxism, a mile off from China standing up. But do you know that even Charlie Kirk's getting into the scene? Charlie Kirk, him and Erica, him and E don't have any children yet, but he's even showing up at the school board meeting.
Good evening. I'm an Arizona taxpayer and employer of over 100 people in this state. I am disgusted that you are lying to the citizens of this state and the people that pay your salaries. You say critical race theory is not in the school district, and then moments later, you have someone come up and use that word, equity. Just last week, the CUSD Summer Equity Symposium was held, and it was, quote, to create systemic change your leadership thinking. How about addressing implicit bias for student excellence? If you know anything, just a little bit, about where these ideas and these phrases come from, you know that this school district is stomping on the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. This is a racist, vile, and evil ideology that has infected this once great school district. I implore every single member of the school board to actually learn what you are supporting. Equity means redistribution. If you care about skin color, you are a racist. That is a bigoted and awful idea. It is against who we are as Americans. I implore this school district to reconsider. Thank you.
Wow, if you want to make skin color the issue, you are racist. You know, the thing is that we send our kids to these public educational systems, and we expect them to come back home to us with the same moral values and faith-based values that we have. Vodi Bachman says, we cannot continue to send our children to Caesar for their education and be surprised when they come home as Romans. Isn't that true? But the school union, the teachers union, has a chokehold from the president and the governors all the way through, this chokehold to promote this far leftist agenda and to lobby strongly against any kind of school choice, charter schools, religious schools, anything that would have freedom. They want to stamp it out so they can continue the pipeline of indoctrination of socialism, Marxist socialism and cultural Marxism throughout the next generation. I believe it was Adolf Hitler that said, "Give me your children until they're 5 and then you can have them back." All you have to do is indoctrinate a next generation, and that's what we're seeing in America. Citizens are expected to rise up against bad policies, against bad leaders, because bad policies based on bad beliefs leads to bad behavior. George Washington told us, as one of our forefathers, the power under the Constitution will always be in the people. It is entrusted for certain defined purposes and for a certain limited period. Notice that. To support the Constitution, for a defined role in government, for a defined period that you're elected into office, to representatives of their own choosing, and whenever it is executed contrary to their interest or not agreeable to their wishes, their servants can and undoubtedly will be recalled. That is only if citizens step up, rise up, and get involved with our civic responsibility. Now, our teaching moment as Christians is Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16 says, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." It is our role, not only as Christians, to be salt, which is a preserving factor, light, to turn light on a dark world. Preserving and shining light, a city on a hill. And when we lose our saltiness, when we lose our flavor, when we no longer are bringing that preserving factor in a culture, a society, it corrupts, it rots within. The greatness of America is rotting within. It's not being conquered from without right now. It's rotting within from bad policies implemented by wrong-thinking leaders, and it's going to lead to a wrong outcome and destroy America. Little bit by little bit, do what you can, get involved. Citizens, rise up, pray, get involved, push back, speak up, run for office if God leads you to, get out the word about these policies that are going on, and let's, at a grassroots level, send a wave across America that brings liberty and justice for all. For Vintage McCoy, where history matters, God bless you. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. For more information, head over to vintagemccoy.com or follow us on Instagram at @TheVintageMcCoy. We'll see you guys later. Oh, wait, I forgot to add, we'll see you guys Monday evening. Sorry. Okay.